Hey, this is Jimmy Chamberlin from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Hi, this is Jeff Schroeder of the Smashing Pumpkins, and this is What's in My Bag at Home. I'm gonna start with the first record I ever bought, which was a 45 single by the band Madness. I probably got this when I was in maybe second grade or third grade, and I only had enough money to buy one record. So I went to the record store with my brother, and I must have looked for hours until I decided that I was going to get this one. I remember my brother bought Synchronicity by the Police on that day too. He had enough money to buy the full length. I only had enough money to buy a single. And this is it. I still have it.
First record was on the top of my pile is this one, Bill Evans, Symbiosis, which is one of my all-time faves. It's a collaboration between Bill and Klaus Oberman. It's written in two movements for large orchestra. It features the classic quartet, or trio of Marty Morell on drums, Eddie Gomez, the great Eddie Gomez on bass, and Bill on not only piano but Fender Rhodes, which is a bit of a departure for him. And they do a lot of cool effects with stereo separation, so half of the orchestra is in the right speaker and the other in the left speaker, or headphones. It's a great way to listen to this, and just draws you in and takes you on a crazy wild ride.
Mary Halvorson, the Maid with the flaxen hair on John Zorn's Zadig level, Zadig, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But this is actually a duo album there's her, Mary Halvorson, and the wonderful Bill Frisell. And this is just a gorgeous, beautiful record. And Mary Halvorson is just one of the most exciting new voices in guitar, I think technically she'd be considered a jazz guitar player, but I think she's kind of blurs the lines between experimental guitar, jazz, and I don't know what else you call it. And she recently, I think, 2019 won a MacArthur Genius Award, and definitely deserves it because she's doing a lot of exciting stuff.
Second record is this record, Another Green World by Brian Eno.
Everyone just ignores them.
Incredible record featuring the great Phil Collins on drums, Percy Jones on bass, who I've actually played with a few times, both live and in the studio, and both from the band, at that time, Brand X, which was a crazy good prog rock band. Another one of my all-time faves. This has Sky Saw on it, which was the namesake for a band that I was in for a while. Another Green World, St. Elmo's Fire, just some another great record to just kind of put on and get lost in.
Gonna mix it up next, go to a cassette from Leaving Records by Brin, B-R-I-N. This is called Homescreen Glow. Brin is an exciting new LA experimental musician that I've become friends with through playing shows around town right before the pandemic. And he's just a wonderful human being, and I just love his records. And so every time he puts one out, I'm like the first one to order it. And I just love so much of the stuff on Leaving Records, and this is a really good one. So Brin, Homescreen Glow.
This record, Witch Doctor, are Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. I think this represents the second or third incarnation of the Jazz Messengers. This is after Wayne Shorter replaced Benny Golson on tenor, still with Lee Morgan on trumpet, Bobby Timmons, who wrote the great song Moanin', on piano, Jivey Merritt on bass, and of course the great Art Blakey on drums. But this record, the dark cover, the title, it delivers on every level. It's very dark, very kind of mysterious, very driving. Art's on fire on this one, and he plays the heck out of the drum kit. The band takes a lot of crazy harmonic chances, which I really like. The song Afrika, which is incredible. I know they did a couple versions of that song with a couple different incarnations of the band. This one's really good. Wayne and Lee are incredible section.
Shin Joong Hyun, a famous Korean guitar player, and this is a cool collection of his work on the Light in the Attic records. This is kind of a overview of a lot of different work with that he did solo and also with other artists. And there's a song on here, the fourth song on side A, called "The Sun" by the female vocalist Kim Jung Mi. That's one of my favorites, and I recently recorded a cover of it that's going to be coming out soon, and I'm going to release it under my own name as a solo song. But it's cool. My friend Hia sang it in Korean, and we did it's an acoustic song in here, but we did a full-blown shoegazed out version of it. It came out really great. But Shin Joong Hyun is maybe, I don't know what you could compare him, but people say he's the kind of Jimi Hendrix of Korean rock music. A lot of cool stuff on here.
More jazz, but on a different track. The great Mose Allison.
I'm smashed. Hello there, operator. I'm crashed. Where can a man surrender?
Another one of my all-time favorite artists. This is actually live at the Lighthouse, not too far from Amoeba. This is a great trio, and they just crush these songs. It's so good, and the audience is totally into it. It's a great Sunday morning, put it on, you feel like you're in the venue. Mose is at the top of his game. Of course, the songs are great. Smash, Seventh Son, Fool's Paradise, Parchment Farm, all classics that the man himself penned. Great American songwriter. If you don't know anything about this guy, you definitely go back and go down this rabbit hole. It pays big dividends every time.
Next, I'd like to share is it's kind of a duo of releases, both on CD, because I got impatient waiting for the vinyl of Thurston Moore's new album By the Fire, and so I just cut it on CD because I could get it.
Floating up through your skin, white gardenias in your eyes.
Just a wonderful record, and even the one that came out that before this one, Rock and Roll Consciousness, is wonderful too. He's just hit another creative stride, and the playing is great, the songs are great, the singing's great, the guitar playing is great. James Edwards, the other guitar player's great. Deb Googe from My Bloody Valentine on bass, and this one only has Steve Shelley on one song, but there's a different drummer on this one. I can't recall his name at the moment, but great record. And then also, this is hard to see here. Let me see. It's Thurston Moore Spirit Council. This only came out on CD because the compositions are rather long and they're instrumental, and especially the one here, this one, Alice Moki Jane, it's over an hour, and I saw him perform this a few times over the span of a couple days a few years ago. One at a museum in Minneapolis, and then at the Art Institute in Chicago, and a really great piece. Love that.
And finally, we have Zombie by Fela and the Afrika 70.
Zombie not gonna stop unless you tell him to stop. Zombie, zombie, oh zombie, zombie, oh zombie.
Fela was a master of writing in the modal form, so the base of the harmony of the music would stay the same. The horn parts would play melody over the top of that, and then the vocal would kind of guide the journey, while the percussion added dynamic shading here and there, and was basically in the lead position, where Tony Allen, how he's articulating and signaling subtle changes in the music, whether it be the addition of a horn part, addition of a vocal harmony. It would determine kind of when they were going to shift gears from verse to chorus to horn part. So huge impact on me and the Pumpkins. In fact, when Billy and I were writing the music for Zeitgeist, we rented a house in Scottsdale, Arizona, just to kind of hang out and bro down and get into the writing process. And we brought a ton of this music, and it was incredibly inspirational. Any of this stuff that you can get your hands on is incredible. And again, great, like Sunday morning, put it on and go down the rabbit hole like I do. It's so fun.
We have Mix It Up a Bit. Steve Vai Flexible. This is one of my prized possessions. I had this originally on cassette, and I used to just have memories of sitting in the back of my parents' car listening to this record, but I recently picked this up, and this is an original on Light Without Heat Records. This is just a record that contains unbridled creative energy that's completely uncompromised. There's virtually no thought of being commercial on here, and it's just the most fun experimental record that he made soon, like right after he left Frank Zappa's band. And I think somewhere in the DNA of this record you can hear all the things that he was able to become later, and he's still to this day one of my favorites, but this is one of my all-time favorite records.
That's what I'm listening to. This is what's in my bag, among a bunch of other things. But these are my recos. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for listening to me babble about my records. Bye.